Hi guys, I am Yashodhan Agnihotri, a final year student at IIIT Pune, and I will be your host for today. Welcome to our channel, Learn Competitive Programming with CodeChef. On this channel, we post weekly problem explanations and concept videos. Also, if you are interested in competitive programming and want to master data structures and algorithms, this is the place for you. So, what are you waiting for? Click on that subscribe button and kickstart your journey towards competitive programming today. The problem in discussion today is from the recent December Cook Off, and the problem name is Mysterious Array. The difficulty level of the problem is medium and the prerequisites are good observation skills. Now let us see the agenda for today. First, we will try to understand the problem statement. Next, we will see the detailed solution approach. Lastly, we will see the C++ implementation. Let us try to understand the problem statement. This is an interactive problem. So Joshua is hiding an array A of size n. N is given as even. So he wants to play a game with you. Your goal is to guess the array. Now Joshua gives you the first and the last element of the array. So there will be three inputs. The first input will be n, that is the size of the array. Then the first element of the array and the last element of the array. We can ask him queries of the form L1 space R1 space L2 space R2. Now it must hold that L1 plus 1 is less than equal to R1 and L2 plus 2 is less than equal to R2. So basically this means that L1 should be less than R1 and L2 should be less than R2. He answers these queries with the maximum element in the subarray from L1 to R1 minus the minimum element in the subarray from L2 to R2. Consider that the answer to the query is x. So x is equal to maximum element from the subarray L1 to R1 minus minimum element from the subarray A of L2 to R2. So the x is given as output by the interactor. Now we have to guess the array using such type of queries. So it is asked that can we guess the array in no more than 2n queries. So maximum queries are given as 2n. So we cannot ask more than 2n queries, else the output for our answer will be wrong. Let us see how we should interact with the judge. So first we should read a line containing n, a1 and an, where a1 is the first element and an is the last element and n is the size of the array. Now we should print no more than 2n queries. A query should be of the form q, l1, r1, l2, r2 separated by a space. Then we should read a line containing the answer to the query that we defined as x earlier. Now when you think you know the array, so if we think that we have guessed the array, then we should print exclamation a1, a2 and basically the whole array. Then we should exit the program immediately, otherwise the time limit will be exceeded. So lastly we should type endl or maybe return for the program to exit. Now let us see the solution approach. Also, did you know that CodeChef conducts free live classes on Unacademy where we teach every possible topic related to competitive programming? We have basic level courses like Introduction to C++ or Java, Recursion, Basic Data Structures, as well as advanced level courses like Dynamic Programming, Segment Trees, and Graph Theory. These courses are conducted by top coders who have been ICPC finalists, IOI medalists, or work in top product-based companies like Google, Facebook, and LinkedIn. All you need to do is download the Unacademy app or register yourself at unacademy.com and choose your goal as competitive programming. You can also take the paid Plus subscription to get additional features and individual level support. In Plus, we have large set of practice problems associated with every topic covered. Also, we have 6-star and 7-star rated teaching assistants to help clear all your doubts before, after, and during the live session. You can use my referral code, which is ZAP10, and get an instant 10% off on Plus subscription. So hurry up, guys. Don't miss out on this amazing opportunity and kickstart your journey towards competitive programming today. Let us see the solution approach. So let us take an array A which is hidden and we know its first and last element. Now we have been given that the maximum possible queries can be 2n. So it is easy to be guessed from this that since we have an array of n and we have to guess that array in 2n queries, therefore for each AI, 2 queries need to be used. So we have to now build up upon this observation. Now what should be the size of each query? That is the size of the subarrays L1 R1 and L2 R2. Now let us see why the size of subarrays L1 R1 and L2 R2 will always be 2. Now we will discuss why the query subarray size should be 2. So let us take an example. So we here have an example. A is equal to 1 3 5 7 5 8. Now let us take a random query where L1 comma R1 is equal to say 2 comma 4. So and let us take the same query for L2 R2 as well. So L2 R2 is equal to 2 comma 4 as well. So what is x over here? So as you know, x is the output given by the judge. So if we pass the query L1 R1 space L2 R2, then x will be max of A L1 R1 minus min of A L2 to R2. So here x will be equal to, so here second element is 3 and the fourth element is 7. So our subarray will be 3 5 7. So the answer for max of A of L1 to R1 will be 7 minus the minimum will be 3. So the output given by the judge will be 4. Now let us see over here. If we had 2 elements over here, how would it have been easier? So here we say let's name the elements A1, A2, A3. So here if the maximum is A1, then minimum can be A2 or A3, and the same for all the 3 cases. Whereas if we take subarray size 2, we know for definite that say we have an subarray A1, A2. So if the maximum over here is A1, then for sure the minimum over here is A2 and vice versa. So this proves why the subarray size should be 2 and not more than that. Now let us see how we can choose the best query. So for example, take L1 comma R1 to be equal to 1 comma 2 and L2 comma R2 to be equal to n minus 1 comma n. So here I am making use of the fact that we are given the first element and the last element. Now if we write this, then x will be equal to max of A1 comma A2 minus min of A of n minus 1 comma an. So even though we know both A1 and A2, how will we able to predict from the value of x, how will we able to predict the values of these 4? So we need to find another way to ask such a query. So here by taking 4 different elements in the query, we are actually creating a problem. So now let us try and take 3 different elements in the query and then let us check. So the best query over here will be to choose 3 consecutive numbers and split them into 2 queries. So let us see how this can be done. Say L1 comma R1 is equal to 1 comma 2 and L2 comma R2 is equal to 2 comma 3. So let us see what x is. So x is equal to max of A1 comma A2 minus min of A2 comma A3. Now here comes the important thing in this question. we need to address another query with the opposite L1 R1 and L2 R2. So y is equal to max of A2 comma A3 minus min of A1 comma A2. So if we observe in this question, so if we have x and y and with the queries like A1, A2, A3, then it is almost certain that if we know any one of A1, A2 and A3, then we will be able to eliminate one variable and find the value of another variable. So here basically we know A1. So A1 is given. So if we have A1 given, then we need to eliminate A2 and find the value of A3 with respect to A1. So let us prove how this can be done. So let us see the proof why this method will work. So here we have three consecutive elements of the array A1, A2 and A3. Now after applying the queries L1, R1, L2, R2 on these three elements, we get the following results, that x is equal to max of A1, A2 minus min of A2, A3, and y is equal to max of A2, A3 minus min of A1, A2. I suggest you note these results somewhere because we are going to use them again and again. So now there will be particularly 4 cases on how these equations turn out. So the case 1 is, let us see. So case 1 is A1 greater than equal to A2 greater than equal to A3. So in this case, x will be equal to max of A1, A2, which is A1 minus min of A2, A3, which is A3, and y will be equal to max of A1, A2, which is max of A2, A3, which is A2, minus min of A1, A2, which is A2. So this is the first case. The second case will be A1 greater than equal to A2 less than equal to A3. So this will be the second case. Now here x will be equal to max of A1, A2, which is A1, minus min of A2, A3, which is A2, and y will be equal to max of A2, A3, which is A3, minus min of A1, A2, which is A2. So these are the first two cases. Now let us see the next two cases. So the third case will be A1 less than equal to A2 greater than equal to A3. So let us see what will be the values of x and y for this case. So x is equal to max of A1, A2, which is A2, minus min of A2, A3, which is A3, and y is equal to max of A2, A3, which is A2, and minus min of A2, A1, A2, which is A1. So this is the values of x and y for case 3. Now over to case 4. So case 4 will be A1 less than equal to A2 less than equal to A3. So this is the last case. So x is equal to max of A1, A2, which is A2, minus min of A2, A3, which is A2, and y is equal to max of A2, A3, which is A3, minus min of A1, A2, which is A1. So these are the results of our 4 cases. So we have these 4 cases after we found out the values of x and y for each of them. So there was case 1, A1 greater than equal to A2 greater than equal to A3. Case 2, A1 greater than equal to A2 less than equal to A3. And this was case 3 and case 4. Now what we have to do next? So among A1, A2 and A3, we know the value of A1, right? So what our task at hand is, we need to find either of A2 and A3 by doing some operations. So here what we can do is, we can eliminate A2 from each of these equations, and then we can find the recurrence or the relation between A1 and A3. So after doing that, we have found the value of A3 is equal to a1 minus x plus y and a1 is equal to a3 plus x minus y. So these are the two values obtained from this equation. Now let us see how to apply this observation or how to apply this find to the solution. Before going over to the solution, let us try to generalize these two expressions. So say a1 is equal to ai, that is any ith number in the array. So ai is equal to a of I plus 2 plus x minus y, and a of I plus 2 is equal to ai minus x plus y. Now let us apply these observations and find out the solution and guess the array. Now let us guess the array by asking queries. So let us ask queries on the first three elements. So here if we ask queries on L1 R1 is equal to 1, 2 and L2 R2 is equal to 2, 3. So here as we know A1, so we can easily find the value of A3. So how can we find the value of A3? We can find the value of A3 as A3 is equal to A1 minus x plus y. So here we got the value of A3. Now we will ask another query. So the next query will be L1 R1 is equal to 3, 4 and L2 R2 is equal to 4, 5. So over here let us see how we can find A5. So here if we want to find A5, we need to know A3. But as you saw earlier, we already found A3 from the first query. Therefore, A5 is equal to A3 minus x plus y. So from here, we can get the value of A5. So if you are seeing, we can find all the values with odd indices. So from A1, we found A3. From A3, we found A5. And so on, we will find all the values up to a of n minus 1. Now, why a of n minus 1? Because n is even. Now, we need to think how to find the values with even indices. So, let us see. Now, to find the values with even indices, let us ask a query for the last three elements. So, here L1 R1 will be equal to n minus 2 and n minus 1, and L2 R2 will be equal to n minus 1 and n. So asking the two queries as we saw in the example and finding the value of x and y, here we can apply the formula mentioned over here, that ai is equal to ai plus 2 plus x minus y. So as we know the value of an, from an we can calculate the value of a of n minus 2. So a of n minus 2 is equal to a of n plus x minus y. Now since we found a of n minus 2 from an, from here we can find a of n minus 4 and so on we can find up to a2. Now you saw we guessed the whole array. We have seen the solution. Let us try to work this solution on an example. So here we have an array 5, 7, 3, 2. But as you know, we only know 5 and 2 out of this array because obviously 7 and 3 are hidden. Now let us ask queries. So the first query will be q 1, 2, 2, 3. And the next query will be q 2, 3, 1, 2. So we are doing this for finding a3. Now by asking these queries, x is equal to here max of 1, 2 which is 7 minus min of 7, 3 which is 3. So 7 minus 3 is equal to 4 and y is equal to max of 7, 3 which is 7 minus min of 5, 7 which is 5. So it is equal to 2. Now we know the formula that a3 is equal to a1 minus x plus y. So from this formula we know a1, the value of a1 is 5. So a3 is equal to 5 minus 4 plus 2. So what do we get? 3. And if you check, A3 is 3. So our formula is correct and we get the answer 3. Now let us do the same and find A2. For finding A2, we query the last 3 elements, that is 7, 3, 2. So the query will be 2, 3, 3, 4, and the next query will be 3, 4, 2, 3. So here x will be equal to max of 7, 3, which is 7, minus min of 3, 2, which is 2, is equal to 5, and y will be equal to max of 3, 2, which is 3, and min of 7, 3, which is again 3. So y will be equal to 0. Now we know that A2 is equal to A4 plus x minus y. So from where did we get this formula? We got this formula from AI is equal to A of I plus 2 plus x minus y. So from this we get that, just a minute. From this we get that A2 is equal to 2 plus 5 minus 0. So A2 is equal to 7, and rightly so, the value of A2 is 7. Now since we have guessed the whole array, let us output this. So we guess the array, it is 5, 7, 3, 2. Now let us implement this in C++. Now let us see a walkthrough of the C++ implementation of the problem. So here I've addressed the queries. So this function will ask the queries to the judge, and here I will also take input the answer to the query, and I will return that answer. So now coming to the main. Now first I will take input the 3 variables. So the 3 variables were the size of the array, the first element, and the last element. And here I have created an array of size n, and I have assigned the first and last element respectively. Now let us find all the odd indices. So here I am running a loop from 1 to n minus 3, and I am asking the queries I plus 1, I plus 1, I plus 2. So here L1 R1 is equal to I comma I plus 1, and L2 R2 is I plus 1 comma I plus 2. So int x will be that value, and int y will be I plus 1 comma I plus 2 comma I plus 1. So here L1 R1 will be I plus 1 comma I plus 2, and L2 R2 will be I comma I plus 1. So here we got our x and y. Now it was very easy, as we found out earlier a of I plus 2 was equal to a of I minus x plus y. So here we apply the same formula and find the next to next element from the ith element. So here we found out the I plus 2th element from the ith element. Now let us go over to the even indices. So over here I run a reverse loop from n to 2. So here I is equal to n minus 2, I greater than equal to 2, I minus equal to 2. So here int x is the same again, q of I comma I plus 1 comma I plus 1 comma I plus 2. So L1 R1 is I comma I plus 1, and L2 R2 is I plus 1 comma I plus 2. And int y is the same as above. Now we again apply the formula AI is equal to AI plus 2 plus x minus y. So with this formula we find all the even indices. Now as we have guessed all the even indices, we just output an exclamation mark and then we output the whole array. And don't forget to write endl over here, because this flushes our output. Now let us submit this code and let us hope for a correct answer. There, we got an AC. I hope you enjoyed the video.